Hello, everybody, students. Today we continue with 11.3 ultrafiltration. If you guys remember, this is one of the key stages that happens within the nephron or the individual unit of the kidney. So if you remember from last time, we studied the structure of the nephron, and then we also said that there are these three key stages that happen within the filtration of blood. So today we're going to focus on this right here, ultrafiltration, which happens within the Bowman's capsule. And we're going to focus how the glomerulus, or that network of capillaries here, play a role in filtrating the blood and then releasing the urine into the continuation here of the nephron. So the essential understanding is the ultrastructure of the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule facilitate ultrafiltration. So what is ultrafiltration? We know that this is the first of the three processes where that metabolic waste made up of nitrogenous wastes are separated from the blood and the urine, right? So then the blood is going to come back into your body and the urine is going to continue within the nephron until it reaches that collecting duct, and then it's going to go out into the urinary bladder and out your body. So this is a filtration process that happens under high pressure. So we're going to look at how that is involved as well and how the structure of the arteries fit the function and allows for the high pressure. So here we see the structure of the Bowman's capsule in this picture right here. So we see the blood that moves into the kidney via the afferent arterioles. So the blood that is coming in is coming in and going into this knot-like capillary here. So this whole thing here in red is called the glomerulus. Let's label it a little bit. So blood in, and this whole thing is the glomerulus. Glomerulus. Now, the glomerulus is surrounded by the Bowman's capsule, and within the Bowman's capsule, you have this layer of cells called podocytes right here. So these cells right here are called podocytes. And then these podocytes have additional extensions that is going to allow the extensions to wrap around the blood vessel. So here's the blood vessel, and here are the extensions of the podocytes just wrapping around that blood vessel. And then in addition to that, between the podocytes and the glomerulus, you have a glycoprotein matrix called the basement membrane. And this is important because this is what actually filters the blood. This is the membrane that is going to block the movement of stuff that we need in our blood, like our red blood cells, like our white blood cells, and it's not going to allow them to leave as part of our urine, right? So this basement membrane, or this mesh here, is very important, and this is located between the podocytes here and between the glomerulus. So what else should we know about this basement membrane? So here, this is a good diagram here that's showing you the blood, right? Or the blood vessel here. And then this area right here is showing you the filtrate. So remember, the filtrate is it's what begins the waste that is eventually going to turn into urine. Right, so this is what we refer to as the filtrate. So this basement membrane, again, lies between the glomerulus. So this part right here would be the glomerulus. And then this part right here is going to be the part of the Bowman's capsule. Okay. So the basement membrane have these pores. So that's what it means to be fenestrated, or to have pores, which means that blood can exit freely. So it exits the glomerulus freely, But then that means that anything that's big is not going to be able to leave the blood. Okay. What else do you need to know about the basement membrane? Well, that's it, right? It doesn't allow blood cells, platelets, or plasma proteins to leave, only the filtrate. All right, the other thing that you need to know is the understanding of this hydrostatic pressure within the Bowman's capsule. So again, remember, ultrafiltration is happening within the Bowman's capsule. And the reason why this can happen is because blood that is coming in, and remember that this blood is coming in through the afferent arteriole, blood that is coming in at a high hydrostatic pressure. So high pressure. So high hydrostatic pressure. Now, the reason why the blood is coming in at a high hydrostatic pressure is because of two reasons. One, this afferent arteriole is short and wide. So that means that there's low resistance to come in. So low resistance input pathway. And then the efferent arteriole, which is the arteriole where blood exits, right? So E for exit, so blood coming in through the afferent and it exits through the efferent. So this efferent arteriole is narrower, so that means that there's high resistance for exiting or the outflow pathway. So it's easy to come in other words, but it's difficult to get out. So this is what creates the hydrostatic pressure or the high hydrostatic pressure. Additionally, within the glomerulus right here, or this network or branches of arteries, you have these narrow branches, right, which are going to increase the surface area available for filtration. And this net pressure gradient is going to allow the blood to move into the capsule space in this area right here within the capsule. The blood, once it gets filtered, it exits via the efferent arteriole. And then the filtrate, which again is what contains the waste, but it also contains things that need to be reabsorbed later on. So we call it the filtrate because it's not urine just yet, but it does contain the bad stuff, is then going to travel into the proximal convoluted tubule, then the loop of Henle, and then into the distal convoluted tubule, and eventually this waste is what's going to turn into urine. Okay? So as far as this section is concerned, you just need to know how ultrafiltration happens. It happens within the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule, and it's able to happen because of the structure of the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule. If you want to know where exactly the actual filtration happens, it happens right here in the basement membrane that is found within the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. And this is what allows only the blood to filter through, and it prevents larger cells to filter through into the filtrate. Okay, that is it for today.